They called him Abram, a man from the city of Ur, living among idols and false gods. But one night the voice of the Almighty broke through the silence of his life, calling him to leave everything behind, his home, his relatives, his land. But why? And where was he going? No map, no guarantee. Only a promise that he would become the father of a great nation, and through him every family on earth would be blessed. Hard to believe, but Abram believed. He gathered his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all he owned, and set out toward the land of Canaan, a stranger in a strange world. What was his destination? Genesis chapter 12, verse 10, and there was a famine in the land. So Abram went down into Egypt to live there for a time. All seemed well until he reached the Egyptian capital. For Genesis chapter 12, verse 13 tells us that Abram, fearing for his life because of Sarai's beauty, called her his sister. Now, the Bible doesn't say that she was actually his sister, but that Abram lied and said she was. Verse 14, Pharaoh took her into his house, but God struck Egypt with plagues, until the truth was revealed. And when Pharaoh learned that Abram had lied, he threw him out of the city. But Abram left with more wealth than he had when he entered Egypt. Back in Canaan, he and Lot grew so rich in flocks that their herdsmen began to fight. So Abram decided to separate from his nephew. And Genesis chapter 13, verse 14 tells us that Abram said to Lot, "Please let there be no strife between you and me, between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are brothers. Isn't this great valley of the Jordan too narrow to have you in it? Please, let there be a separation between us. If you choose the left, I will go to the right. Or if you choose the right, I will go to the left." Lot chose the fertile Jordan Valley near Sodom, while Abram stayed in the hills. Then war came. Kings fought against kings, and Lot was taken captive. Verse 14 tells us that when Abram heard that his nephew had been taken captive, he armed his servants and pursued the enemy and rescued Lot. And what a rescue it was! Verses 15 to 16 tell us that, on his return, a mysterious king priest named Melchizedek brought bread and wine and blessed Abram in the name of the Most High God. Now, many people try to identify this man. Who was he? A mystery. Where was he from? Another mystery. But the Bible tells us clearly enough about what he did. He blessed the man who became the father of faith, Abraham. And as Abraham journeyed further into Canaan, God spoke to him again, saying, "No longer will you be called Abram, for I am making you the father of a multitude of nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make you into a great nation. Nations will be blessed through you, and kings will come from you." What a promise! But how could Abraham have a multitude of children when his wife Sarai was barren and old? Even Sarah herself laughed when she heard the promise. We can only imagine what she was thinking. Old and barren. How could God possibly fulfill this promise? But God repeated the promise and changed Abram's name to Abraham, meaning father of many. He also changed Sarai's name to Sarah, meaning princess. Then God confirmed the covenant, telling Abraham that in just 1 year he would have a son. 1 year later, Sarah laughed again when she saw Isaac being born, the child of laughter, the miracle boy. But there were other children in Abraham's life, specifically Ishmael, the son of Abraham and Sarah's servant Hagar. When he was 14 years old, God told Abraham to send Ishmael away, promising that he would make Ishmael a great nation too. Then came the greatest test. God told Abraham to take Isaac, his only son, the son he loved, and sacrifice him on Mount Moriah. Abraham didn't hesitate. He bound Isaac, raised the knife, but just then the angel of the Lord called out to him, stopping him. A ram was caught in a thicket, and it became the sacrifice instead. God swore by himself to bless Abraham beyond measure because he had not withheld his son. Abraham lived to see Isaac grow, marry Rebekah, and carry on the promise. And he died full of years, buried in the cave of Machpelah beside Sarah. This is the story of the man who left everything for a voice in the night, and in doing so became the father of faith.